What up, YouTube? I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I'm figuring out I'm pretty bad at editing YouTube videos. So what we're gonna do here is I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna like try and be all happy, and I'm not gonna worry about if I cuss. I'm gonna kick this cat. Quit. And so anyways, I'm not gonna do a lot of editing. You're gonna have to deal with a lot of pauses, a lot of me thinking, a lot of seconds where I'm just standing here staring at nothing, because I'm bad at editing and I've been trying for a while and it's not working out. So what I've been wanting to make a video about is how much does racing cost. I've been trying to make this video for a while. It hasn't been working out. I gave up. Then somebody last weekend was talking to me and they were like, I want to get into racing, and I started breaking down how much it actually costs, and I was like, dude, we haven't gotten to the track yet. And it blew their mind. So let's talk about how much does racing actually cost. It breaks down. You're gonna need to get to the track, you're gonna need to race at the track, and you're gonna need to eat the whole fucking time. You're also gonna need consumables for your bike. That's how it works. Getting to the track, you gotta put gas in your vehicle. Gas in my truck is not, it's decent. We're gonna go off of last year. Gas in the truck, about 120 bucks. 2.5 hours there to the track, pulling a 6x12 enclosed trailer, or 7x14. I'm sorry, I got rid of the 6x12. 7x14 trailer, couple bikes, moped, Grom, fucking all that crap in the back of the trailer. It gets like 8 miles to the gallon. My truck gets horrible gas mileage. If I'm getting 8, I'm doing good. So we got to the track with gas. Okay, now I'm gonna need to fill up the gas. Fill up the bike with gas all weekend long. That's going to cost me about 60 bucks. And that's if I'm just running like regular gas. I'm not running race gas. I'm not running MR12. I'm not running any of that crap. I'm just running regular pump gas. Sometimes I might splurge, buy some pump gas from the track. It's still pump gas. 60 bucks about for the weekend on the bike. The bikes use a lot more gas on the racetrack. That's just how it is. They go a lot less miles, but they're doing it at fucking red line the entire time, so they use a lot more gas. After that, depending on how I get power, if I use power off the track, that's 20 bucks. If I use power off of the my generator, I got to fill that bitch with gas all weekend long. So generator, I can't spell, all right, so let's get over that. Gas for the generator is also going to be about 60 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, somewhere in there. I think I got it worked out 70. We're just going to go with 60 bucks to fill that bitch up. Fucking, because you got to realize we're talking like I'm going to show up Friday afternoon at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, somewhere in there, and that thing's going to get cranked on and it's going to run 100% of the time until I leave Sunday afternoon. So it's going to use some gas to get that going. But you got to have power. So after getting power and everything, I got playing out my food, or my gas. I got playing out my food. I got food. How am I going to eat? Well, I'm going to take some snacks to the track. Basically, the way it's going to work is I'm going to leave Friday. I'll get a snack or something before we leave at the house, and then we'll drive. And generally, we'll go to the track, get everything set up, and then hit up a fast food joint that night. Then we might get a fast food breakfast one morning if somebody's feeling squirrely and they want to go get some. And then we'll hit fast food on the way out of town again on Sunday. So I'm generally going to spend about 60 bucks on fast food. Okay, so fast, put this over here, 60 bucks. And then going out to eat, somebody's going to say, let's go to fucking B-Dubs or some shit like that. So I'm going to go out to eat at least once. That's going to be, you know, what did I put down? I put down 65 bucks. We'll just go 60. Drinks, whatever, it may go up, may go down, depending on where you go. I'm just going to write down 60. That's about the average for a meal. I have to go out to have a meal. Snacks, you're going to need snacks. You're going to need like some chips, some cracker, whatever you want. I like Twizzlers, Starburst, and Ruffles potato chips. Those are my track foods. Skittles, Starburst, and Ruffles potato chips. I like the salt from the potato chips a lot, so I'll eat that. So snacks, it's gonna be about 25 bucks. $25 for some snacks, okay? And what goes with snacks? You need drinks. You're gonna need a case of water. You're gonna need some Gatorade, Powerade, that stuff you drink after you get drunk, Life Water. You need all that stuff. I like Life Water and pop. That's pretty much what and Red Bull. I drink a lot of Red Bull, Life Water, and pop. So drinks, I'm gonna be spending like $30 on drinks at least. Buy a couple cases of pop. I'm gonna buy a couple of them little 4-packs of Red Bull. I'm gonna buy a case of water and buy some Life Water. So $30 is kind of low, but we'll go with $30. Now, on top of that, have you ever been to the racetrack, especially my racetrack? You know they make food there. They make some good ass food. We're talking like carnival fucking good ass food, and they make these bomb ass fucking pancakes. And I gotta get my pancakes. Wife loves their biscuits and gravy, so we're gonna eat at the track once. That's probably gonna cost us at least once, if not twice. And I like the burgers too. I like the track food, so I'm gonna have to get some of that. So, and it's not cheap. So track food's gonna be probably about $30. Now, do you need all this? No, but I like to be comfortable when I'm racing, so I get all this. Can you skimp on some of this? Yeah, you could probably skimp on the generator if you park by a fucking power outlet, if you're lucky. But you can't always guarantee you're gonna get by a power outlet. Some tracks don't even have power, so you gotta have a generator. So some of it you can get rid of. Can you not eat fast food? Yeah. Could you bring a bunch of bologna and sandwiches? Yeah. Is my wife gonna be happy eating a bunch of bologna and sandwiches? No. No. Could I do that by myself with my friends or something? Yeah. Totally could cheap it out, but wife, not doing that. So all this is basically what we're just gonna spend on food. You can see right now, just food alone, $150. We're at $205, $200 just to eat for the weekend. Again, you can skip that down a little bit. Now, after eating for the weekend, oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot one more thing with snacks. You're gonna need ice. My cooler sucks. I need ice. And I'll spend at least $20 on ice for the weekend. So you need ice. Alright, after all that, we got ice, we got gas, we got food. So now we're gonna have to fucking get into the racetrack. We've gotten to the racetrack, we got our food taken care of, but we still gotta get into the racetrack. Getting into the racetrack for a race weekend is not cheap. It varies on what day you show up. We show up on Friday, so it costs us $35 a person. Show up on Saturday, I think it's $25 a person. And you show up on Sunday, I think it's like $15 a person, or 10 or something. I don't know. I never show up on Sunday, so I don't get that luxury. So, gate, $35 a person, $70 for me and the wife. Right there, just to get in. They ain't even gotten on the track. We just walking around that bitch. So, $70 to get in, quit. After that, you gotta decide. You gotta do practice. What kind of day is going on? Is it a practice Saturday with races on Sunday? That's what we're gonna pretend like. We're gonna pretend it's a practice Saturday, races on Sunday. Keep in mind that if you're racing both days and practicing on Friday, that shit goes up. It doesn't go down, it goes up. So, practice on Sunday, racing on Saturday, nice simple weekend, no track day on Friday. That's how we're pricing this out. Just remember, prices go up. Practice generally runs between $90 and $120. They decide, I don't know how that works, but practice is about $120 to $90. So we're just gonna go with $100. Even round number, probably a little more. $100 for practice, and then racing is $90 for a race for your first race, $60 for every race after that. Last year I did 7 races. 7 races. Now, here's where we get my little calculator in, in case I need it. 7 races, that $100 practice. Now, normally, if you don't practice, you got to pay $90 for your first race, $60 for every race after that. If you do practice, you get that discount on your first race. Practice counts towards your first race, so you'll have to pay that $90 for your first race, but you still got to pay the $100 for practice. So all the races are going to be $60 each instead of $90 for that first one, and then $60 after that. So races, 7 races, $60 each. I'm bad. Plus fucking that extra one, so 7 times $420. Do you believe I do math for a living? $420. That's how much it's going to cost you to get into this race, or to actually race those 7 races. Just an entry fee. Just entry fee. You might get a piece of wood. If you don't, you had a good time. So, fucking 7 races, 1 practice, $420. Get in the gate, $70. That's actually being on the track, okay? Now we're gonna get over here to consumables for the motorcycle. What kind of consumables do I need for the motorcycle? What's gonna wear out? What am I gonna use? Why was I staring at the light for a minute instead of the camera? So, consumables. What's the biggest consumable that the motorcycle is gonna use besides gas? I can't write upside down, but you need tires, all right? You need tires. What are tires gonna cost you? It depends. If you're running the big bike, here's the way it works. Faster you go, more money it costs. That's it. Faster you go, the more money it's gonna cost. You wanna ride that big bike, you wanna get on that leader bike, and you wanna get out there and lead some people, then it's gonna cost you some fucking money. That's it. I remember last year at Brainerd, I was parked next to a guy that was running the exact same ZX10 I had. And he was racing it. And he was like, I'm getting 2 races out of a rear tire. Woo! That adds up after a while. That is not cheap racing right there. Rear tire is going to cost you a pretty penny. Set of tires for my cheap ass SV, the SV. Let's see, what do I got down here? I got about $400. I think it's like $350 to $400 for the tires. We'll go an even 400. You're basically going to be spending about $250 for that rear, $150 for that front tire. These are race tires. These are slicks. These are not DOT tires. These do not act the same. They do not feel the same. They are a lot softer, squishier. They allow you to go a lot faster. They need to be heated up beforehand, so you got to throw them on warmers. You can't just throw a set of slicks on the bike and be like, I'm going to go racing. You're going to die. So, tires, what else do you need? You need more tires. Did I mention that? You need more tires. Why do I need more tires? I already got tires. What if it rains? What happens if it rains? You can't run your slicks in the rain. Gotta have something. You done paid $420. Excuse me, $500. You done paid $500 because you had to add that freaking sucker right there in. Paid $500, $520 to get in here and do this, and now a little rain's gonna stop you? No. You're gonna shell out another rains. Now, if you break that down, you're gonna be spending about $50 a weekend. Okay, so your $350, if you carry that over the entire year, it's about $50 a weekend. You should only really have to buy 1 set of reins if you know what you're doing. A lot of people out there will put on the reins when they see a little bit of dampness on the track, and they're like, I need my reins, and then they go out there and they're like, why did my reins get torn up? Well, because it wasn't wet enough. That's why. It wasn't wet enough. The reins were meant to channel water. Those grooves were meant to channel water. They weren't meant to channel moisture. So, if it's damp, I don't run reins. It's literally have to have puddles that I'm gonna run through before I have to put my reins on. So reins, they cost money too. Tires are not cheap. My chicken scratch is catching up with me here, but we're not done yet. We still got a couple more things to do. We got 2 more things that are important people don't really think about. I need to change the oil in that bike every race weekend. If I'm not changing the oil and filter, I'm at least dumping that oil out and putting new oil in. Not only that, but guess what else? I need to change brake pads. I change my brake pads. I'll run my brake pads maybe 2 race weekends. Then I change my brake pads. My bike is slow. Oops. My bike is slow. I know that. I'm not dumb. But if I can outbrake everybody, if I can put myself in front of them going into the corner, then they can't get by me. They're going to have to wait a second to get by me. And by that second time comes out, I may have already had that drive out of that corner, maybe a little bit further ahead than them. So I highly believe in really good brakes. So I change my brake pads. I don't let them wear. Sometimes, depending on what's at stake, I might change my brake pads every race weekend. Depending on if I'm really needing to get these points, I'm really fucking pushing for a win, or I don't want to get left behind, I'll change the brake pads. I am not an engine builder. I am not pulling that engine apart. I am not taking them heads off. I am not fixing any of that. But you know what? I can put on good brakes. I can put on a good master, and I can change them brake pads, and I can slow a lot faster than that guy next to me. So, I believe in brake pads. How much are brake pads? They're like $100 average for a set of brake pads. That's about an average. They can go up, they can go down, depending on what you want. But they're about $100. Okay. You do that every race weekend. That's $100 more you got to spend. You do that every 2 race weekends. That's $50. So down here we need brakes for about 100/50, and then we're gonna need what was the other thing I wanted to do? Oil change. That depends on the bike also, and if you're doing filter or not. It's about $10 for a quart of oil. SV, I think I buy 3 quarts, and an oil filter. It's about $40. Okay, I'm gonna do that every race weekend, and I probably won't change the filter every race weekend, but I will definitely dump that oil out and put new oil in. So that is definitely something that you need to get done. So that's pretty much it. Unless you want to like do something like you're gonna flip your tires, pay an extra $10, something like that. You're pretty much at the track, and you're gridded up for 7 races right here. Let's see, we got 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 55 plus 50 plus 170 plus 420 plus, we'll go with the 400 price on that. And then we'll just do the 50 for the reins, 450. And then we'll just do another 100 for that altogether. Plus 100. Oh, I totally forgot something. This is something I haven't done. So if I was going to race last weekend, I have been lazy as hell, and I have not gotten my license, which is another $120 on top of that. So in order to even do all this, I got to do this, which is $120. So total for all this to go to the racetrack, everything new, everything. My first race weekend, this would have been my first race weekend, except for tires. I would have gotten away with tires because I got tires from last year. I got some contingency money, so I would have gotten some free tires. I would have gotten without the reins, so that wouldn't have been so bad. Did I charge this with the reins? Yeah, I did this weekend per rein, so I didn't even do the full price. The total on this shit was like $16.05 for one race weekend. Do I spend that much? No, it's not $16.05. I don't know where this number came up with, but this is how I would have planned my first race weekend. I would have had this ready to go. I like to budget higher than I need to. That way, it's a lot easier to drive home and oh well, we didn't spend all the money versus driving home and you're like, fuck, I hope I got gas to get to work this week. I'm irresponsible, what can I say? So I like to budget a little bit high and then have money left over and it'd be okay. But honestly, this is pretty much where it goes. I don't know how, but somehow I managed to end up knocking it down to around $1,200 every race weekend. Things are going to vary. You're going to have gas left over. This would have been the start of a new year. Things are going to vary. You're going to have gas left over. You're going to have snacks left over unless you throw them into your kitchen to eat them before the next race weekend. You're going to have drinks. You're going to have, like, I don't drink Life Water, or Gatorade, or Powerade, or any of that shit anywhere but the racetrack. So when I come home from the racetrack, that shit just is ready to go to the racetrack again. So you're going to have all that stuff. Things you can't get out of, shit like that. You can't get out of the gate fee. If you're gonna practice and you're gonna do 7 races, you can't get out of those dollars. Generator, and you get out of this, you can probably drop that down to $20 a weekend if you can get buy a power outlet. I try to get by power outlets, but if I can't, I've always got my generator as a backup. You need gas in your motorcycle. You need gas in your tow vehicle. You got to get to the racetrack. That shit ain't free. You need a license to get on a racetrack. This is a once a year charge, but it is a charge you gotta fucking think about. You're gonna need drinks. You don't need snacks so much. I mean, I guess you could live. You don't need to go out to eat. You don't need all the fast food. Like I said before, you can sandwich it up, but my wife ain't big on sandwiching it up. There could be, like, if we're really trying to not spend a lot of money, instead of going out to eat one night, we might do fast food again, save $40. So, things you also can't get out of, but do vary. Tires. If you got contingency, you're winning, you're actually getting money back, that's helping to pay for those tires. This isn't going to be what you're paying for tires. Some weekends I don't have to worry about tires at all. I've already got tires left over from the last weekend. I might have a new tire that I haven't put on yet. So some weekends you get away without even worrying about tires. Most weekends though, you need tires. If you're running multiple bikes, you're gonna need tires. If you're running a big boy, you're gonna need tires. And those tires aren't cheap. So reins, I've raced many years and never owned a set of reins and just been like, yep, it's raining this weekend, not doing it. That's it, that's all you gotta do. But if you're going for a championship, you're going for trophies, you're going for the end result, you are getting out there in the rain and you're going to keep doing it. So you're going to have reins. Last year I went for those championships. I knew I was going to need reins. I bought 2 sets of reins, one for the big bike, one for the little bike. Before the season even started, I had those reins to go. I was able to get reins for the big bike used for $200. I was real happy with that. But I had to buy a new set for the SV, but I was able to run those all year, and honestly, I feel like I could still run those again next year. Reins last. So, brakes, you need those. I need those. There's been this whole every other weekend thing was just started last year. I didn't always do that. I would go many weekends and not worry about my brakes and not think about it. But I've had some situations where when you wear your brakes way fucking down and then you change and you get new brake pads and all of a sudden you're endoing into every fucking corner because you're like, oh shit, I got brakes. You realize how much brakes make a difference. So I do the brakes, oil change. Do you like your motorcycle to stay running and not blow up? Change the oil. It's that simple. Change the oil. I mean, it's a little more technical than that, but changing the oil helps. Getting that fresh fluid in there helps. But that's pretty much it, people. That's how much it costs me to race every weekend. Again, you got to multiply this by 7 for last year, plus this shit varied. I drove like 7 hours to get to Brainerd, so the gas went way up, and then I had to drive back. So yeah, the gas in that sucker went way up. The bike, there was a couple rounds where I was able to not use the generator, didn't have to pay that, but there were a couple rounds where I had to use the generator. And then there's some, with MotoVid doing control riding on Monday. I don't think I've control rode on a Monday last year, but if I control ride, then, it just extends your weekend out even longer. And you're paying even more because you got another day to go of generator gas, another day to go of, my tires are going to last on the bike, that I wear them out this weekend racing, stuff like that. But yeah, this is generally how I budget. I like to budget a little high just in case, but this was how I budgeted last year for the championship run, and I was real happy with how it came out. But with that being in mind, this number here was multiplied by 7 rounds. So, where can you go for $8,000? And that's just this stuff. That doesn't count on how much I paid for the trailer, how much I paid for the bike. You guys saw how many times I threw that SV on the ground, and every time I picked it up, I had to put some kind of new part back on it. I put more in parts on that bike last year than I paid for the motorcycle. I put more in one part last year on this motorcycle than I paid for the entire motorcycle. So it varies. Big vary. It's not just the $1,200. I wish it was that cut and dry. I pretty much average it out to, if I'm gonna go racing, it's gonna be about $1,200. But there are a lot of hidden costs that go above and beyond that $1,200. Some guys can run the same bike for a decade in a row and never wreck the damn thing. so they don't ever have to worry about stupid things like fixing the bike or getting new bikes or any of that crap. So it varies from every person. Everybody's different. Everybody can budget a little different. Everybody's going to have a little bit of different family support. Family support I got is my wife. She's always there helping me out, but it's all coming out of our wallet. And this is how it's coming out of our wallet. And last year, I probably could have done a little something with $8 grand, and it was a little more than $8 grand because again, you got to count everything else you got to purchase. You can't just, I got $1,200. I'm gonna go to the racetrack and race. No, I got $1,200. Plus, I've got a trailer, motorcycles, tire warmers, suits, gloves, boots, helmets, all the gear, fucking all the consumables for the bike. The bike's in tip-top shape. The bike's been set up to race. All of that is beyond any of this. So racing is so not cheap. You know how you make it cheaper? You show up. You guys show up to the races. You pay that gate fee. Maybe that gate fee starts to drop after a few years. If they, you got a couple hundred spectators coming in and throwing that gate fee at them, maybe the racers don't have to pay the gate fee anymore. That's how you help us out. You show up to the races, you cheer on your favorite rider, even if it's club racing. People show up to dirt track racing at the fairgrounds. Let's go see some road racing. So this is what it costs, guys. I try to plan about $1,200. I try to have that available for every weekend. I have no clue as to how I do it. If you're wondering, like, where's this dude get his money? I got a good job, but I also got a lot of bills. So, no idea how I do this $1,200. If I would have raced 2 weekends or last weekend, this is pretty much what it would have cost me. I don't have this, but I would have come up with it. I don't know how, but I would have come up with it, and I probably would have been at the track. So, that's my racing breakdown. That's how much it costs. Sorry about the chicken scratch. Sorry about the pauses. I'm really probably not going to edit this video at all. Sorry about the cussing. I wanted to just get the information out and not worry about how I presented it so much. I'm talking more like as if I was talking to my bro and not like somebody at a motorcycle class or talking like at work or something. And I apologize for my cussing, but again, I'm not trying to make any money. I'm just trying to get the information out there. And again, this is how much it cost me for racing. All right, thanks YouTube.